What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Ranger Central, and today we're making a video that annoys me that I have to make, but this is the nature of just sports in general. When we talk here, there's conflicting reports that happen, so it is what it is. And there was a conflicting report between what we talked about a couple days ago from Darren Dreger, who on TSN mentioned that the Rangers didn't want to move their first round pick because of the fact that they have the drafts at the Sphere this year. Dolan owns the Sphere, so he didn't want the Rangers to trade their pick. Well, Larry Brooks said otherwise in his article today, but we're going to talk about it. Before we do, leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Ranger fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. We bring you all the latest Ranger news, whether it's true, whether it's false. I just break down what I see from the insiders because I have zero sources. I unfortunately don't have any sources, but I like to give you guys my views and my thoughts. So that's just what it is. Give the most objective views possible, where I try not to be biased. That's really the main thing here. And some people love it, some people hate it, but we're going to talk about what was in the article today with Larry Brooks, like I said. So, like I mentioned, there was a whole thing where Darren Dreger went on TSN and mentioned that they didn't want to trade the pick. Well, Larry Brooks in his article, while recapping last night's game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, mentioned in it, he said, by the way, the Rangers' first rounder is in play. There's been no delivered message from Chairman Dolan to Drury not to trade the pick because the draft's going to be at the Sphere. Dolan wants his team up on the stage to make a splash there. The concept is ludicrous. More to the point, there is zero validity to that. I cannot talk right now for some reason, probably because this is like my third time trying to record the video, if I'm being honest here. But regardless, yeah, I'm kind of okay with them still not moving their first round pick, but it is interesting to see that there is a conflicting report here that they potentially might move their first round pick, but I still don't see a reason as to why. To me, there's still nobody out there on the trade market that's worth giving up a first round pick for. I know that Adam Henrique is kind of the sexy name around right now amongst Ranger fans to fill in the 3C void, but to me, I don't think it's a need to give up a first round pick when there's other 3C options available. And Adam Henrique, as good as he may be and as much as he might be the sexier option, there are other options out there that could be low cost effective in terms of filling what the Rangers need. And they might not put up as many points, but they'll still put up a respectable amount of points and still help out this team. I mean, hopefully just as much as Zibanejad, who has been struggling this year, unfortunately. But because we're going to talk about that in a bit, because there was a stat that came out that I wanted to throw in this video from Steve Valiquette that we will talk about. But regardless, like I mentioned, yeah, I still don't think they need to give up a first round pick this year. I don't. Because there are plenty of depth options that the Rangers could go out and get. They do need a top line right winger. So in my opinion, if you're trading a first round pick, the Rangers that is, if they're trading a first round pick, I think it only makes sense to do if they're going out there and getting a guy that is going to be here for this year and next year. So that's not Adam Henrique. If it's Frank Vetrano or someone like that, then it makes sense to give up the first round pick because, okay, you're spending your assets wisely to help your team for this year and next year, especially if it's top 6 help, then it makes sense. But to do it for Adam Henrique, because he's going to cost a first round pick, that's what the market is. We saw with the Lindholm trade, we saw with the Monahan trade. Now Henrique is the top center available. It's going to take a first round pick to get him, or at least a conditional pick. A conditional first, that is, to get him, where it's like if the Rangers make the conference finals, then it's a first. If not, maybe it's a second or something like that. If it's something like that, I wouldn't hate it, but still, I don't know if I necessarily think it's needed because, again, they could fill their voids by going out there and getting some low effective cost players. They could go out and get Abe Kubel from Washington, who I think would be a good fit. I think Barabanov would be an underrated ad from the San Jose Sharks. I think they could go out and get a guy like Nick Dowd, who I've been beating the drum for. As much as I don't like Tyler Johnson and I have questions about his injuries, I have questions just as much about Adam Henrique, not on the injury front, but in terms of his play. Tyler Johnson, you could argue that it's a similar... I don't want to compare the two because they are different players and because Adam Henrique has had a better year, so I don't want to compare the two, but I just mean in terms of the fact that they haven't played in the playoffs in a very long time, both of them. More so Adam Henrique, that is, of course, because Tyler Johnson at least was there for the Stanley Cup, one of the Stanley Cups. I think he was there for only one of them with the Tampa Bay Lightning, but I digress. You know, he would probably cost like a third-round pick, and I don't love Tyler Johnson, like I mentioned. I don't love the fit, but to me, I don't think you need to go out there and give up the big. I don't think you need to get the big name and give up the big assets to go get Adam Henrique. To me, what the Rangers need more so of is they need to fill out their depth, and what they need to do is get their top players to step up more. I'm looking at Chris Kreider, who, Chris Kreider has the points, and I'm not going to dispute that, but we need to start seeing him more produce that at 5v5. Mika Zibanejad, like I mentioned, Steve Valiquette, he put out an interesting tweet that made me want to vomit. He put out a tweet saying, I was just looking at 5v5 expected goals and almost fell off my chair. Mika only has 5.53 expected goals this year at 5v5 and 5 actual goals. From a number one center, that cannot happen. That's what you need to be looking at, if anything. Look at Mika Zibanejad. We're looking at you, man. You got to step up. You got to start netting them at 5v5. Like, we've seen it before in 2019, 2020, before the pandemic. We saw a dynamic Mika Zibanejad that wasn't just scoring goals in one way, which was from the power play. He was scoring goals on breakaways. He was shooting the puck more. He was confident. We need that Mika Zibanejad to step up if this team wants any sort of chance of going far. We need Igor Shesterkin to rebound, and I think this reset's going to help him. I have less concerns with Igor compared to Mika, actually, which, might shock some people. But to me, Igor, we've seen it before, and, he's a guy that could get back in the rhythm, and I still feel confident because we've seen with Ilya Samsonov recently where he had his little reset period. He's been going toe-to-toe with some of the top goalies in the league now. I think that if Igor Shesterkin could have that similar trajectory, that is going to go a long way, and that will help this team because this team, we know the formula, what it's been, and as much as I don't like the formula for what it is, we know that they rely on goaltending and their power play to score goals. Well, if Mika's not even going to score goals on the power play too, because he hasn't been even doing that really as much this year, then where is the goals going to come from? They need him to step up drastically, whether it's on the power play at 5v5 or both, preferably, of course, but it needs to at least happen on the power play because this is seriously hurting the team, and that's why we're seeing the Rangers have games where you look back at some of their games where it's like, oh, well, it could have been even better the win, or, they could have actually maybe won a game if they converted on a power play or two. That's where we're looking at Zibanejad and Kreider to step up, and again, I get on paper the points don't look bad, but visibly, like, just from the eye test, their point totals, to me at least, don't match up what we're seeing from the eye test in terms of their play, and the expected numbers and then the actual 5v5 goals just confirm too that this has just not been the same Mika Zibanejad that we've seen in the past. And even last year, like, I know that he didn't produce much at 5v5, and I was very critical of that, but at least he was producing on the power play. Now you're not getting any of it. I'm looking at him to step up. They need guys from within to take a step forward and to be better themselves if this team wants to just go far or, go the distance at all. And they need to start buying into what they were doing a bit last night in that Tampa game, in that second period in particular, where they played very good defensive hockey, but then let's turn it into the offense that we've seen as well. That's kind of been the issue too throughout the season. That has really been my biggest gripe. And it's, people get mad at me about it because even when they win, I get annoyed about it, but it's just the truth. Because why is it that this team struggles on nights to play good both defensively and offensively? I'd take the trade-off of them playing better defensively because that's more of a sustainable way to win, which is why I was more pleased in October. But why is it that when they play good defensively, there is not good enough offense? They need to find a way to get that balance of both, and I think it's possible. And I think if Igor Shesterkin could give this team confidence, they could take more chances offensively, and they could still play good in front of him and play good enough defense. So they need to find a balance there, and they need to have this come from within to take the step forward. They still have time to do it, and because it's February. It's February. They have time to do it, but when are we going to see it? When are we going to see it? And I know they're on a 3-game win streak, so people are going to say, stop being mad, stop complaining. But to me, it's just, they look shaky defensively in that Colorado game, but played pretty solid offensively in that Colorado game. And then the Tampa game, it was kind of the opposite, where outside of the first period, I didn't like the first period defense, but, they played better defensively as the game went along. And then offensively, though, they didn't generate too much, like except for the third period where they at least started to get going. The third period too wasn't even, the worst period in terms of what you want to see going forward. Like, I will take that over what we've seen in the past from this team over the recent stretch here between December and January. But again, things could turn, but they need to come from within, which is why I'm saying I don't think they need to give up a first round pick. Go out and get, Abe Kubel. Go out and get Dowd, Barabanov, whoever it may be. Go get the bottom six help. I still feel they need a top line right winger, but I don't know what the market's going to be for that. If they have to give up a first, then maybe so be it. But they need guys to step up from within. They need guys to step up from within if they want to be a legit contender and have a legit shot at this thing. That's my belief. That's how I feel, and I think that it's valid to feel that way. And because, like, at the end of the day, I want this team to succeed. Like, I want this team to succeed, which is why I'm critical of them. And even if it's overcritical, it's what it is. Like, I want to see this team succeed, and I've seen it with other teams, and they showed signs of it. They showed signs of it in October. I want that back. I want that back. And, another thing that is a little concerning to me is in the Larry Brooks article, he's mentioning that Jimmy Vesey said he took personally seeing, certain trade rumors and things like that. Vesey, I love you, man, but you got to block out the outside noise. Who cares what Larry Brooks is writing about trying to promote Cal Clutterbuck and push that agenda for him to come to the Rangers? Who cares? Who cares? Gotta block out the outside noise and go out there and perform. Go out there and perform. So if they're taking it as a chip on their shoulder, then fine. But I still would rather them block out the outside noise. Prefer for that. And again, the at the end of the day, the whole point of the video is to give my opinion here. My opinion, they shouldn't trade their first round pick unless it's for the absolute right piece. To me, there's only one rental I would be willing for the Rangers, or I wouldn't be mad about the Rangers giving up their first round pick for, and that is Jordan Eberle, because I think he would fit so perfectly on this team. So that's my takeaway. Let me know your thoughts though in the comment section. Do you agree with me? Am I out of line? I'm sure that people are going to tell me both, but I just feel that the step forward needs to come from within for this team to actually get going, because there's so many guys that are underachieving. There's guys underachieving. And that's another reason why I'm critical. I wouldn't be critical if I haven't seen them in the past perform the way they have. I've seen Zibanejad perform the way he has in the 2019-2020 season. I've seen Chris Kreider perform better than this. I've seen these guys do better. That's at the end of the day what I want. I want to see these guys perform at their peak level, and because they're capable of it. Because they're capable of it. And the step needs to come from within. That's my rant. That's my tangent. And again, they're on a 3-game win streak. It's good. It's great. But continue to build on it. Continue to build on it. And I still want to start seeing guys take the next step forward so this could be sustainable. That's what's most important, is making this sustainable, because we saw them go on a win streak earlier in the year and then things spiraled out of control. The seasons, I get it. It's ebbs and flows, the season, and it's ups and downs, but we need to see certain things be a little more consistent throughout this team. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Whether you agree or disagree, you guys can let me know. But that's going to be it for me. Don't forget to leave a like if you haven't already. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on your notifications too so you know when I upload or go live. And yeah, we got a game against Chicago tomorrow, so I'm going to talk about that there. Might do a podcast tonight. I'll actually quickly see if they're, they want to do a podcast. So we will. But yeah, I'll see you guys there potentially. If not, recap against Chicago. But yeah, let me know your thoughts.